Hi everyone and welcome to today's explainer. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed trying to manage your code, just take a deep breath. You are in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving into some fantastic source material from Code Non-Tech, all about mastering Git with VS Code. Think of me as your friendly, supportive senior developer, just pulling up a chair right next to your desk. We're going to walk through this together at a nice, easy pace. And by the end of our time today, I promise we're going to make your coding life so much easier, way more organized, and practically stress-free. You've absolutely got this. So, here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll talk about why you need to stop dragging your files. Then, we'll get Git versus GitHub completely demystified. Next, we're linking your editor to the cloud and cloning code right to your PC. After that, we'll master the daily rhythm, stage, commit, and push. And finally, we'll wrap up with how to work like a total pro. Okay, let's dive right into part 1. Stop dragging your files and level up your workflow. Have you ever caught yourself manually uploading files to GitHub, literally dragging and dropping them into your web browser? Look, if you have, don't worry, we've actually all been there. It works in an absolute pinch, but as a long-term strategy, it can become a huge source of frustration. Just think about the stark contrast between these two approaches. On one side, you have the manual drag and drop. Imagine trying to update, say, 10 different files every single hour, dragging them over manually, crossing your fingers you didn't miss one or accidentally overwrite the wrong thing. It's a nightmare. It kind of feels like we're stuck in 2005, right? But on the other side, we have this magical, seamless one-click sync right inside VS Code. It's infinitely faster, and honestly, it's so reassuring because the software handles all the heavy lifting for you. Moving right along to part 2, Git versus GitHub demystified, the engine and the garage. Because before we can set up that seamless sync, we really need to clear up one of the most common and, honestly, most intimidating confusions out there. It's the difference between Git and GitHub. Now, these two names sound almost exactly the same, so it's completely natural to mix them up. Let's start with Git. Simply put, Git is just a small piece of software. It's a little engine that runs locally, right there on your own computer. Its whole job is to just sit quietly in the background and track the history of your files. It's kind of like a personal time machine for your code. So, for VS Code to communicate with the outside world, we actually need this quiet little engine installed on your machine first. And this brilliantly illustrates the relationship between the two. If Git is the engine running smoothly on your local machine, well then GitHub is simply the garage up in the cloud where your code is stored and shared. Git is the local version control doing all the driving. GitHub is just the destination where you park your projects so your team can see them or so you can access them from absolutely anywhere. So, let's get that engine installed. Now, I know installing new developer tools can sometimes feel a bit daunting, but please do not stress over this one at all. Just head over to git-sem.com. Download the version for whatever operating system you're using and pop open the installer. It's going to throw a lot of options at you, but you can confidently, patiently, just keep clicking Next on all the default settings. I promise, you really can't mess this up. The defaults are absolutely perfect for what we need. Alright, part 3. Linking editor to cloud. Connecting VS Code. With that little engine humming quietly on your machine, we are ready to bridge the gap between your computer and the cloud. And this is where things start to feel incredibly rewarding. First, go ahead and open up VS Code. Now, I want you to gently guide your eyes over to the left-hand side of your screen. In that activity bar, you're looking for an icon that looks like a tiny little branch or a line with a little circle splitting off it. That is your Source Control tab. Trust me, it's going to become one of your absolute best friends. When you click on that branch icon, you're going to see this very friendly button asking you to sign in to GitHub. just go ahead and click that. A browser window will gracefully pop open, basically just asking for your permission to link the two together. All you gotta do is click Authorize. And just like that, ta-da! With just those few simple clicks, your local VS Code and your cloud GitHub Garage are officially and securely connected. Part 4. Cloning code to your PC, bringing cloud to you. Now that we have that beautiful connection established, we actually need something to work on. This brings us to a super common industry term you're going to hear all the time: cloning. Now, cloning is nothing to be intimidated by. It literally just means taking the code project that already exists up in the cloud and safely bringing a copy of it down to your local computer so you can start working on it. But I do need to give a gentle warning here. A very common beginner mistake is navigating to GitHub in your web browser, clicking that big green code button, and selecting Download Zip. Let's gently steer away from doing that. See, downloading a zip file just hands you a disconnected, flat folder of files. It completely strips away that vital engine connection we just talked about, meaning it won't be able to easily sync back to the cloud. Instead, let's see how this builds into our new professional workflow. Here is the magic 30-second trick to doing it the right way. Inside VS Code, simply press Ctrl-Shift-P on your keyboard. That opens up your command palette, which is basically a magical little search bar for actions. Type in git clone, paste the link to your GitHub repository, and just select the folder on your PC to save it in. And that's it. You now have a local, perfectly synced copy of your code. Which brings us to Part 5, Stage, Commit, and Push, the daily workflow. Oh, I'm so excited for this part. You are now ready for the core of our journey together today. This is the daily rhythm, the exact heartbeat that real software developers use every single day. We call it Stage, Commit, and Push. And once you feel this rhythm, writing code becomes so incredibly satisfying. Here's how it works. When you change a file and save it, VS Code immediately notices, and a little 1 will appear over that branch icon. Now, a common mistake here is trying to save it to your history right away. But first, you have to stage your changes. I want you to think of staging as simply putting your changed file into a secure envelope. You know, you're gathering up exactly what you want to send. You're preparing it, but you just haven't sealed it or sent it out yet. Let's walk through that exact 3-step heartbeat together. First, hover over your changed file in the Source Control tab and click the little plus sign. That's staging, putting the file in the envelope. Second, type a brief message in the text box explaining exactly what you did and hit the check mark right above it. That is committing, sealing the envelope and creating a permanent save point in your local history. Finally, just click that big blue Sync Changes button or the push arrow. That literally hands the envelope to the mail carrier, sending your brilliant code live up to the cloud. Plus, checkmark, push. That is your beautiful new rhythm. Finally, Part 6, Working like a Pro, Fine-tuning your habits. I have to say, I am so proud of the progress you've made today. You honestly have all the mechanics down perfectly. But to wrap up our time together, I want to offer you one final, crucial piece of advice. This is what truly separates a beginner from someone who looks like a total pro to anyone reading their code. And the crucial point is how you write those commit messages. You know, the little notes you type in right before you hit the check mark? It is so tempting to just type update or fix stuff, especially when you're in a hurry. But trust me, 6 months from now, you are not going to remember what update actually meant. A professional message is clear and helpful. Use prefixes like fix resolved login bug or feat added calculator logic. It literally takes 2 extra seconds, but it is an absolute gift to your future self and any teammates you might have. Let's just take a quiet moment to look at what you have accomplished today. Look at these new superpowers. You successfully installed the local Git engine without breaking a sweat. You securely linked your VS Code editor to your GitHub garage. You cloned the repository the correct way instead of relying on a clunky zip file. And you mastered the professional daily heartbeat of staging, committing, and pushing. This is exactly how the pros work every single day, and now, so do you. You have built an incredibly solid foundation today, and you should feel really, really confident in your new workflow. But as we know, the journey of learning never truly ends, does it? The sources we explored today hint at even more exciting tools on the horizon. So, are you feeling curious about how to magically fix mistakes using Git's powerful undo features? Or maybe how to safely experiment with your code using branches? Hold on to that curiosity. Keep practicing your new staging and committing rhythm, and until next time, happy coding!